Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Reviews for Harry and Meghan's big-budget Netflix series have so far been less than kind. Unimaginative and frustrating, said Hollywood's Bible Variety magazine.
Meghan Markle's fairytale romance has taken a dark turn. Once the darling of the British monarchy, she now faces scathing criticism from media powerhouse Piers Morgan and former US President Donald Trump. But what secrets have been unearthed? And why are these influential figures so adamant about exposing Meghan's alleged deception? The answers might shock you. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. As Meghan Markle stepped into the royal limelight, the world watched with bated breath. Here was a modern-day fairy tale unfolding before our eyes. An American actress marrying into one of the oldest monarchies in the world. But as the dust settled and the confetti cleared, a different picture began to emerge.
Is a cynical attempt to manipulate viewers into questioning their own recollections of reality. And if we learned anything at all from the first 3 hours of this $100 million wine-a-thon, it's surely that this dismal duo wouldn't know the truth if it smacked them around their smug chops. So sickening, I almost brought up my breakfast, said the woke Bible, The Guardian. Or the intimacy of Instagram, sneered the normally timid New York Times.
One that left many questioning the true nature of Meghan's royal ambitions. Piers Morgan, never one to mince words, has been at the forefront of this critical examination. He's painted a picture of a duchess who craved the glitz and glamour of royalty without fully grasping the weight of its responsibilities. She thought that actually being a member of the family was wearing a tiara and then doing what the hell you like, Morgan stated, his words cutting through the carefully crafted image Meghan had presented to the public. But it wasn't just Morgan's words that began to chip away at Meghan's royal facade. Reports of staff mistreatment and family rifts started to surface, casting a shadow over the Duchess's claims of modernising the monarchy. The public began to wonder, was this really about service and duty?
Now, compared to some of the other things Harry said, that perhaps wasn't the most revelatory, but it did start this campaign by a US-based think tank. It all goes back to Harry's memoir, Spare, in which, amongst the bombshells he dropped, was the admission he'd taken drugs, who questioned how Harry had been allowed into the US if he'd made this admission. They were questioning, had he lied on his paperwork? Was he given favourable treatment, special dispensation?
Or was it a calculated move for global attention and a luxurious lifestyle? The disconnect between Meghan's words about royal duty and her actions became increasingly apparent. Her public airing of grievances, which Morgan vehemently criticised as disrespectful to the royal family, seemed to contradict her earlier promises of dedication to the crown. This apparent hypocrisy didn't sit well with many, fueling a growing sense of disillusionment. As the backlash intensified, questions arose about the impact on the monarchy's reputation. The institution, built on centuries of tradition and service, found itself at the centre of a media storm. Morgan argued that Meghan's public complaints had undermined the royal family's dignity, tarnishing an image carefully cultivated over generations. As the royal drama unfolded, an unexpected voice joined the chorus of critics from across the pond. Donald Trump, never one to shy away from controversy, weighed in on the Meghan Markle saga with his characteristic bluntness. But why would a former US president care about a British royal's behaviour? The answer lies in a complex web of politics, personal opinions, and the special relationship between the two nations. Trump's relationship with the Sussexes started on shaky ground and quickly deteriorated. What began as polite distance soon turned into open criticism, with Trump accusing Meghan of being nasty and disrespectful to the Queen. But it was his comments about Prince Harry that truly raised eyebrows. Trump didn't mince words when he said, "I think Harry has been used horribly. I think someday he will regret it." This statement wasn't just a jab at Meghan. It was a scathing indictment of her influence on Harry's life choices. The former president's accusations went beyond mere personal dislike. He painted a picture of Meghan as a manipulative force, steering Harry away from his family and royal duties. Trump's remarks about Harry needing a lot of luck because he's going to need it hinted at a grim future for the prince, one supposedly orchestrated by his wife. These weren't just idle speculations, they were calculated statements from a man who once held the highest office in the United States. But Trump's involvement in this royal drama wasn't without its risks. His comments threatened to strain the already delicate US-UK relations. Aware of the potential diplomatic fallout, Trump attempted to soften his stance, stating, "I respect the British monarchy too much," to escalate tensions. Yet this veneer of respect did little to mask his true feelings about the Sussexes. The political implications of Trump's statements were far-reaching. By criticising Meghan so openly, he was effectively taking sides in a royal dispute that had captivated both nations. His comments about not wanting to roll out the red carpet for the couple if he were president sent a clear message about where he stood on their status and behaviour. While Trump's remarks about the royal couple reverberated through political circles, another voice was about to send shockwaves through the British media landscape. Piers Morgan, once a supporter of Meghan Markle, had become her fiercest critic, but his determination to challenge the Duchess's narrative would soon cost him his job and spark a national debate about free speech and mental health. The turning point came during Meghan's bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey. As millions watched, Meghan spoke of experiencing suicidal thoughts during her time as a working royal. The next morning, Morgan's reaction on Good Morning Britain would change the course of his career. "I don't believe a word of it," he declared, setting off a firestorm of controversy. Viewers and mental health organisations were quick to condemn Morgan's dismissal of Meghan's struggles. The backlash was swift and intense, with many accusing him of insensitivity and potentially harming those who might be struggling with similar issues. But Morgan refused to back down, even as the pressure mounted. Behind the scenes, Meghan herself reportedly filed a complaint with ITV, expressing concern over the potential impact of Morgan's comments on mental health discussions. The network found itself in a difficult position, torn between supporting their star presenter and addressing the growing public outcry. Faced with an ultimatum from ITV to apologise or leave, Morgan chose the latter. "Is it right that my right to free speech was so impinged that I had to leave a job if I didn't apologise for disbelieving someone who said false things?" he later questioned. Framing his departure as a stand for freedom of expression, the incident divided public opinion. While some applauded Morgan for standing his ground, others saw his exit as a necessary consequence of his controversial statements. The debate raged on, with Morgan's supporters arguing that he was being silenced for questioning a powerful narrative, while his critics maintained that his comments were harmful and irresponsible. Despite losing his position at Good Morning Britain, Morgan remains unrepentant. He continues to voice his criticisms of Meghan and Harry, accusing them of hypocrisy for complaining about royal life while enjoying a lavish lifestyle in their $14 million mansion. "I want to be defined by Meghan Markle," he declared, "even though she was personally responsible for me losing a job I loved." As the dust settles on their royal departure, Meghan and Harry's Hollywood dreams seem to be fading faster than a California sunset. The power couple that once captivated the world with their fairy tale romance is now facing a harsh reality check. Their attempts to establish a post-royal brand have hit some serious roadblocks. It appears the glitterati of Tinseltown aren't exactly rolling out the red carpet for the ex-royals. Remember all those big deals and promising connections? Well, they're not exactly panning out as expected. The A-list crowd that once seemed eager to rub shoulders with royalty is now keeping their distance. It's as if the magic wand has lost its sparkle, and the Sussexes are finding themselves in a less than enchanted position. But here's the real kicker. Their narrative of victimhood, which initially garnered sympathy, is starting to wear thin. The public, it seems, has grown weary of the constant drama. As their royal shine dulls, one can't help but wonder, will Meghan and Harry manage to rewrite their story, or will they remain trapped in the very spotlight they claim to be escaping? The saga continues, and the world is watching with bated breath.